when these guys reamed me so hard that I had to go and see a doctor, I thought that looks not very legit. And then I watched them and I thought, you know, Bushka, you're probably just being too skeptical. And they're very, very skilled players who are good at shooting things, particularly things that you can't generally see through. Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it to you big dogs, you wonderful human beings, you. I'm Bushka, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a movement masterclass. Now, I want to break down the background on why I'm doing this. I really have been working very, very hard on my in-game movement over the past month or two, and it's borne a whole hell of a lot of fruit. I've won a lot more games from good movement, and it's particularly important if you want to fight desync. I know that seems weird, but it's absolutely important if you want to do that. One of the things that spurred me on to doing this was I got beat, hands down beat, by a Japanese guy called PTF Stucky in a gunfight. Now, admittedly, he has a lot better ping than me. He was running around on 20 ping, but his movement was so much better than me. I was like, there's no way that's not real. He's using an emulator, blah, 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 blah. And I watched him back. And then I thought, you know what? He's not cheating. He's just better than me at moving around the map. And I want to go and think about that and get better at it. So I have really devoted a lot of time to it. Now, the secret to... I'm going to put a link to the video I just dropped on desync in here. There is a thing called the Peaker's Advantage. It's very, very, very nasty. The basic gist of it is if you are using a peak mode of gameplay and firing around corners rather than just holding there, the game has to send your client's signal to the server and then to the other guy. So quite often you'll come around a corner and you won't be visible. I also want to have a chat to you about going over walls and everything. There is an animation that happens when you climb over anything like this. That animation takes an amount of time. And if you use that animation to go over every single obstacle, one day you will find a situation occurring where you're going through the animation and you get the crap kicked out of you by a guy on the other side of the wall, in the other side of a room that you couldn't see previously, and you have to go through the full animation. What I like to do is not do that. I like to actually run up, jump sideways, and a lot of the walls that are the right height, and the windows and the ladders and everything like that, you can do this with, and it will save you the embarrassment of getting late game, going over a fence, and getting drilled by some muppet lying in the grass who's snaking. Cue the hands up for everyone here who's done that. I'm one of them. And that's really, really important. So you can combine those two things, and your movement will improve a lot. So number one, you've got to get your peak to fire enabled, and we're going to show you how to do that as well. It's applicable to so many, like if you're at Georgia Pole crates and these things are all over the place, you jump up sideways on the thing and then you move around in happy days and you can jump off if you get in trouble. Like, this is all part of a holistic approach to movement improvement. Some walls are just a little bit too high, other walls perfect. And you'll note a lot of this is as you jump, you turn sideways, and that will mean that you're not frontal to the animation. It can't take place. If you're running even across a little gap in a fence like that and you hit the button, the animation will take place and it'll slow you down for a sec. See, it's a wall. You've got to go over it. You'll do this little hop. What you want to be doing is just running through and turning sideways, and that will improve your movement straight away and allow you to get your gun to bear a split second quicker. You couple that with, say, a desync issue, which again, go and watch that video if you haven't, and suddenly you've got like a 0.2 of a second advantage. And did you know that a Groza or a Mark 14 will kill you in 0.153 seconds on full auto at zero range? Like, so these are real numbers, and they really affect the way your gameplay, the win-loss ratio of your gameplay. The other thing that's really important is the sprint button. I did a lot of work on sprint. I used to use this button. You can see me tapping on the hand cam down there in the bottom right hand corner. There is a button just to the left of my character. I'm tapping on that to sprint. Don't do that. It slows you down. It really does slow you down. It's not... You can use it and you can be seamless, but it's not quite as easy as just using the hold the thumb up and sprint. But the other issue you're going to have with this is if you are holding the thumb up and you're going to the right, you've got to make sure that your thumb is directly over the center line, or that sprint won't occur. So that's one thing that you can improve. See my thumb on the bottom right? It's directly above that sprint button. But if it's all the way above and up there, it doesn't work. It's got to be directly over the top of that button, and then it will sprint every time, right? Too easy. This is just the basics, and I'm going to show you some more important stuff as we go forward. But wow, I mean, we're already 5 minutes in, so this might be a long video. I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm also going to show you a bit of an innovation, something that is going to highlight how much movement is going on during a game for me. Now, I'm a claw player. I make no apologies for it. There's a lot of people out there, and you see how I'm sideways onto everything here? All my jumps, when they're going, if you're sideways when you tap the button, you can't do the animation. If you're directly in front of the object, you will do the animation. So these are just things that I think about when I'm playing. I'm a claw player. A lot of people use triggers on mobile phones and things. It's fair enough. I don't care. Like, I really don't. But you really need to understand that if you are going to be playing and you're going to improve your movement using thumbs, it's still possible, but it's not nearly as effective as being a claw player. And all you need to be a claw player is like an iPad mini or a large Samsung or anything like that. Now you see that pre-fire there? That's all well and good. That's a big part of the desync advantage. You can practice your peak to hold. You might want to start it, like just practice walking around doing that. It's really, really important. The other thing is you really want to have it on the hold setting. What I mean by that is you can see my peak buttons are at the left, just underneath my zoom and my jump button. There is a reason why I have it set up like this. I'm going to break this down for you now. This is my claw setup, and it's a big part of why my movement has improved so much. I have my action buttons on opposite sides of the screen. So this isn't going to be for everyone, but this is just an idea for you. I have my fire button at the top right-hand corner of my screen. I have my jumping button and my zoom button at the left, as well as my peak buttons. Now, the mode of thought behind that is that my zoom and my peaks are all set to zoom in as soon as I touch them, right? So my peak buttons are peak and zoom, a peak and open scope. Okay, you should have that, and hold. So while I'm doing that, I'm not going to be jumping. Okay, so I won't be jumping. So I'll either be jumping or zooming, but not the both at the same time, because when you jump, you can't stay zoomed. And I will also be firing and jumping, or firing and zooming, but not firing, jumping, and zooming all at the same time. So I have those two active button sets on different sides of the screen. And the rest of it is all personal preference. And my movement is left and my aiming is right. Now, let's move on from this. So we've outlined the theory of everything, okay? And now I'm going to talk to you about how you can improve during the game. Watch how I'm running around here. Watch how I'm jumping from railing to railing. And it's very, very smooth. There's only going to be one little catch here where I'm not actually in control. And just as I loot over here, you'll see a little bit right here where I run into that thing. And that's it. Like, and this is what I will do generally when I'm playing alone. Now, you can play solo and do this and just run around everywhere and work on your movement. And I'm just listening there. He's definitely around here somewhere. Always working on your movement. And that kind of gameplay where you are jumping from piece to piece will save you when you get good at your movement. Watch this. So I've cleared a guy up there. I'm thinking there's a guy on the top. I'm never stopping moving here. Never stopping moving. There he is. He's got an SKS. Hit him once, straight through the window, hit a heel. Then I'm going to pull out, go back behind. All these bits of movement look seamless, but it wasn't like that before I started practicing it. And if you get good with your movement like this, you'll start doing this running around with a scope, quick scope in, bang, hit your shot, open the scope again so you don't have a movement penalty being scoped in, and then scope in again once your bolt action is reloaded, and then you're moving around again. And you'll note here, this is the animation. The animation takes part there, but it doesn't take place here because I jump sideways and sideways rather than pressing up. When I'm coming out from behind trees, I am peek and leaning because that will give you the peeker's advantage, which you want. Please go watch that desync video if you don't understand what I'm talking about. It's really, really important. The peeker's advantage is massively important. And just in your day-to-day life, it's going to be important. Now, it's not such a big thing in third person because in third person, you can third party them. Like you can third party peek, which is one of the reasons why I think it's beneficial. Like I'm not saying it's not beneficial, but it's a big part of why people prefer to play TPP when they start the game, and they'll start playing FPP as they get better at the game and get better at controlling, because you can just do this. Like, straight out from behind a corner while looking. And And once you master that one simple thing, you're done. Watch here. This is me. I do this all the time. I've forgotten how much I do this. So you can see I'm jumping sideways rather than tapping an animation to climb those stairs. And here's a wall. I'm going to jump sideways along the wall. I don't have to go over it. I just get a good peek at it, and then I'm back through the window. And you can actually jump through the windows if you press jump, and then you tuck in like you press the crouch button. But I mean, that's a long way in the future. And you can see this is how you want to go around corners. You want to be using this peak to lean button. You want to hold it just about here. You're leaning out. That's the desync, the peak is advantage. Please go watch that video if you haven't, because it'll explain what I'm talking about there, and it's really, really important that you understand it, especially if you play a lot of FPP. And then we're going to rock out here, and again, we lean out to get a look at it so that we maintain that advantage. Now, you can do that every single time you go around a corner, and if you do that and make it a real priority to you, your movement is going to improve. And you can see I'm still holding down that peaking button there and giving it a little wiggle at the end, because I do not like the tap to peak button. It just slows you down and it's not fluid. You've got to do the hold to lean button, and it becomes so much better for you as a player, and it will improve your gameplay. Now we're going to have a look at something here, and I want to talk about recoil as it pertains to the movement and the buttons on the screen as well. And I'm going to show you something. It might be a little bit jarring for you. I've never seen anyone else do this, so it's very, very hard to get the ratio right. But I'm going to show you a gameplay with the high definition in the middle and the hand cam superimposed on either side of the screen, so you can get a concept of how much movement is freaking going on a hot drop. Even in third person, I'm here with Westy, one of the patrons, a flightless bird. So let's drop Picardo, and I'm going to talk to you about this. And it's obviously not perfect, but it will give you an idea on how much work goes into this and how you can improve your gameplay. The gameplay for the character, the avatar in the middle, is pretty seamless, but you can see my fingers going absolutely everywhere, aiming, pushing, thumping, dumping, all kinds of stuff. We're going to jump down on the ground here, and I'm going to pick up a M762. Now, a lot of people have trouble controlling the recoil on the gun. Watch my finger on the right, my thumb. Watch how I drag it slowly down the screen and across every single time. That is recoil control on a gun that is very, very hard to control recoil-wise. Now, there's a reason that works for me, and the big part about it is I set my sensitivity up correctly. Now, there's a link in the on the card on the screen right now to my sensitivity settings video, my perfect sensitivity. But I've got the right sensitivity to allow myself to full auto spray and control the recoil by dragging my thumb down at a nice even rate. It can become difficult. I'm going to show you a clip here now where when you're tracking targets across wide areas, you can see how much I'm stretching my fingers. But you can do that with your thumb as well, because you can actually, if you're just a thumb player, you can hold that button down on a full auto spray, and as we all know, you can control the recoil by moving your thumb around, which isn't a claw thing. And you can do it, and should do it, with your sensitivity set up correctly, and that allows you to, you know, dominate that engagement, allows you to have better recoil control than the other guy, put more shots on target, and win. That's basically what we're looking for here, is a way to improve as a player. I'm sorry the screens aren't absolutely perfect. I don't know how I can get the ratios perfect, but we can give it a shot. We'll figure it out one day, I guess. You'll see what I mean here. When someone is moving away from you, that is an advantage for a claw player, but even then, it's very, very hard to hit those shots with a red dot until they get stationary and we start dragging down the screen slowly on the right. I mean, you can see that recoil control, in essence, is going to be another engagement in just a second. There's a bunch of guys below us, and the recoil control, I'm using a red dot on M416. There's a full squad underneath us. Again, I've missed a couple of sprints here. The sprint thing is big. It lets you be vulnerable for a split second while you're completely motionless. I would suggest that you really work on your sprint control. I do it an awful lot. It should all become second nature. Here we go, dragging that thumb slowly down the screen. The jump, the fall, the reload. It's really lovely to actually do it like this and see the difference for me as a player. I'll show you a couple more little bits and pieces of this. You can stop watching now if you want, I guess. But remember, adjust your sensitivity correctly. Get your peak and open scope enabled and change it to hold rather than tap to peak and open scope. And when you're jumping, try not to let the animation do all your movement for you. Again, I just love watching this recoil. I don't know why that is, but it's really interesting for me. Okay, that's who I am. I'm going to leave this running for a bit. If you want to watch it, go for your life. You don't have to. And you'll hear Westy and me commentate throughout. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to subscribe, that would help me. I love big numbers as much as the next human. I'd love to get more subs. And yeah, if you want to become a patron and join in on the live streams, we had one of those earlier today, then patreon.com/Bushka. Yeah. I'm going to leave you. Just let this one go. Yeah, you get to watch the whole gameplay if you want. If you don't, I understand. But I thought this is something new. You might enjoy it. Ridiculous. How hard is it to find a 3x scope? Yeah, there we go. I thought there was still someone over there. We still have someone to the northwest. I was certain there was someone over there. Okay, I don't know if that guy in the car stopped. Did you see if he stopped?
No, he's kept going.
Cool. So we've still got someone over to the northwest too. And I think that zone might have forced them across. So they've got to be in there basically. Have you seen any cars around? Let's find a car. Vehicle? Is it you?
I'm on a bike.
Yeah, I'm not getting on that bike. There's a car down here. Drive me to the car. Or go to the car and get it. I don't care. One of the two, but I'm not getting on the bike.
I'll get the car.
Yeah. Oh, there's a guy on me, dude. Just stay safe, dude. Stay safe. Anything there else?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see the dude, but he's 345 north. Somewhere up there. Let's get away from this car, dude. That car is a death trap. On me. That's one. I think that was the guy. He's got my 3x scope as well on him. There's another one there. Straight down.
He's down, yep, Pubg's a lot.
There's another one across the road.
That guy went straight down.
Yeah, but there's a guy across the road regardless too. Don't know who he is or why he's there.
Yep.
He's definitely there.
Oh, yep.
Where's that? Where is he? Okay, let's go, man. Let's go. Car. Good call, good call, good call. Someone on a...
Someone just pulled up.
Yeah,
and a motorbike just went flying.
I saw the motorbike down there is... he's coming in pretty hot and heavy. No way am I going to hit that. Got to try though. I'm going over this side in case he yeah, he's stacked it again. Yeah, he's down over here. You got anything else coming in?
No, we just got that car that pulled up at that hut over there.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye. Have a look in the corner there. And then we're just going to have to fight this dude. There we go.
Oh, he got me with a nade.
Last guy's in here, right?
Yep.
Now, if you've watched this far, my commiserations and apologies again to Westy for this. I'm about to make a massive potato of myself after all this, but it wouldn't be sporting if I didn't include it in the video. I always thought you could not fire through those bits of wood there on the walkway above to the right. Like, you can't fire through a lot of the fences, and there's like little fence post areas that just won't fire through. So I molly to try and trap him in there, and then work the circle to my advantage, but he just shoots through the wood. I didn't know you could do that. I just, sorry, Westy. My bad, dude. Yeah, look after yourselves, humans. Stay safe from the battlefield and try not to rage when you're an idiot and a potato. Bye for now.